I'm gonna hit record now, but we could just start like chatting and warming up because it's more just like a conversation.
Of course.
But thank you. I really do appreciate you taking the time out. I mean, you could have been doing anything, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Jigga, for that line. But yeah. So this is like my podcast. I just started it out. This would be the second episode. And it's really just like about insight. Like I'm always curious. I've always been curious, always ask why. So like when I see something cool, I try to like understand like where the person came from, what they're like, what inspired them, like, and all of that kind of good stuff. So, and I mean, Clubhouse has been clutch with that. Like it just came at the right time. Like I was holding the podcast off for the entirety of last year. I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And then Clubhouse came along and I was like, yes, Lord. Now I know how I'm gonna get it done, because now I can speak to people directly and be like, yo, would you XYB down for this? Boom, boom, boom. And most people are really down for it. So yeah, I call it the Lion's Den. I'm a Leo. So it's like kind of like a safe space, you know, especially for Blackness, because like I think a lot of the things that I like to ask are maybe we don't speak so much in our community, or there's not that much information out, or people just aren't that tapped into it. But yeah, man, we're meeting for the first time. So my name is Meta. I make Afro hip hop music. I'm on Instagram. Meta makes music. But now I am a podcaster, I guess. Out here. I've been in Atlanta for a year now. You probably heard the intro. I just feel like I'm doing my Clubhouse intro now. But yeah, I've been here for a year, and you know, we're just trying to network, trying to expand myself creatively. I think I'm still growing as a creative because I didn't grow up as one. But that's me, man. This is the platform just for insight. Tell the people about you. Who is Bryttany?
Well, it's Bryttany Victoria.
Yes,
That is how, I guess, my stage name. It really is my name though, but it's Bryttany with a Y. So BRY versus typical I's. So Bryttany Victoria is, I like to think of her separately from me, but we're still the same person.
Okay.
I'm a big believer in, I guess my tagline is embrace every inch. And it's embrace every inch of yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, and just all the things that make you you. The trauma, the scars, the weight, whatever it is, whatever your thing is, whoever you are, embrace all of those things that have turned you into the person that you are now, or who you want to be in the future.
Yeah,
no one says
that's all you're saying. No one says what?
Oh, I was gonna say, no one says you have to be a certain way. Like no one, I mean, what I want to do is be a model. That's what apparently I've always wanted to do, or what I'm gifted at. Things I didn't know. I went to college for musical theater. So I do sing a little, I do act, obviously, but really like my self-love journey led me here.
Yeah.
So beyond the pretty pictures on Instagram, which by the way, it's Bryttany Victoria, at Bryttany Victoria.
Plug yourself.
Yes. Please follow me. But behind the pretty pictures is a story that I'm still on. We're all on. If you say that you're completely healed, or you say that you're a guru, whatever it is, you're an expert in your field, then you still have so much more to learn and more to grow.
Yeah, exactly. And you said that you there's a lot about you. There's not just one thing. It's not just the Instagram pictures, but you do a lot. I was looking at what you do and I'm like, hold up, wait, you do a lot. So for the good people out there that don't know, and then you can plug your handles again, let them know where to find you, but let them know what you do. And I'm gonna count it with you because you do a lot. You do a lot. So let's go.
I do. So I guess like my day job is I'm an office admin. So I have that 9 to 5 work. I work that. I believe an entrepreneur needs to have multiple streams of income. That's just how it works.
Definitely.
As a creative, we know, especially in this pandemic, you have to. So I do that. I do modeling, so freelance modeling.
Boom. Boom.
Um, just hire me. Simple as that. I also do video work. I'm really like getting into that. I realize that's kind of more my thing.
Yeah.
Um,
I saw it said video vixen and I was like, hey, okay.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
Hey, I did a few, and I just kind of realized it's kind of just like it's a gift, and so I'm gonna embrace it. That's what my whole thing is about. I'm more on the boudoir side of modeling.
Yeah.
I work like lifestyle and all of that. I've done a bunch of projects. Um, I was I did a video for USA Today that was really good. It was a while ago, but it kind of helped shift this whole journey.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so that's on my website. I'll plug
And
that later.
that USA Today interview, was that about everything you do, or was it more about the boudoir?
It was more about the boudoir and the self love side of from like being a mom. Essentially, it was the mom bod series. So
Yeah.
finding your way past like new motherhood or motherhood as a identity is
Mm-hmm.
a big thing for me. So that's like where my self love comes in. Is it's beyond your title or your like what society identifies you as. It's who you are as a person. You don't lose that just because you become a mom, or I mean we all lose our way, like you lose sight of it.
Yeah.
So my job is to bring it back. It's one
So
of my many jobs.
yeah, I was gonna say like Uncle Ruckus out here, like every job in the neighborhood. But what I wanted to first of all, I commend you for that. Like that's inspirational for me because it's like a lot of us we probably get comfortable with that. Oh, I'm making this stream of income here, and especially
Mhm.
like as a creative, I think it's like a bit scary, to jump from a guaranteed paycheck to something, whereas if you don't get up and make the movement every single minute of every single day, you're not going to see anything in your bank account. You're just going to see money leaving. But what I did want to ask you is, first of all, how long have you been doing this now, especially like the boudoir?
Um, so boudoir I've been doing for about like strictly that for about 2-ish years.
Yeah.
Before that, I had like, the typical mom blog. I had a following. I traveled. I spoke. And it's just kind of when I did my first boudoir shoot, I kind of just knew it was my thing. Like it's
Okay.
just this is where I should be.
Yeah. And how long ago was that?
About 2 years.
Okay. And it was it like somebody came up to you and was like, hey, we think you'd be perfect for this, or did you just
Um,
fall into it?
I tripped and fell in front of the camera, and just kidding.
Magic.
Um, magic. No, I have a bunch of friends who are photographers in our area. There's 3 of them that I've worked with regularly, 3 or 4 of them that I've worked with here and there. But my very first one, she's a big name in like Roswell. So I worked with her. She just had a shoot. She just asked for models, and I was just like, sure, I'll apply.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was chosen, which was cool, and I did that one. And then I fell into working with who I work with today, which is Vibe Boudoir.
Okay.
So she's more of, I would say, not just like my friend, not just my photographer, but like a business partner as well.
Yeah.
We did a shoot, and we steadily shoot. We're now doing like monthly shoots together,
Yeah.
as well as I work with her as like a creative director or a posing guide.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hands-on with all of her clients, posing them as well.
So okay, so that's a whole thing also. Like, and I think I noticed that about what you do is like you do a lot of the work in front of the camera and you do a lot of work behind the camera as well. So like the posing thing as well, that stood out for me. Like, so it's like, did you just do it or get good at it just by constantly doing it, or did you take courses, especially like to be like, okay, I'm really good at posing and I can actually therefore go and teach people how to do this? Because I think a lot of the times with us creatives, myself included, I make music, but I forget that I could write songs for other people, for example.
Mhm.
So it's like, is that how you came about it, or did you like have some kind of like formal education, or did somebody say like, hey man, you're really good at this, you should try and coach people? But like you said, you also have like photographer friends and things. So it's like, did they
Mhm.
encourage you and then so on?
It more so started that I kept being asked to be a model for different people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I realized that through like working with Vibe, like she would just use me. We would do a few shoots here and there, and she really encouraged me to like really believe in the fact that I'm good at posing naturally, like
Mm-hmm.
naturally gifted at it. Which then, I mean, so no, like, I guess no formal education. It's just a natural talent that I was an athlete in college
Yeah.
also. So as a coachable, someone who is coachable,
Mm,
I am
mm,
also able to be a coach.
that's actually very
Um,
important.
it is. Because if you aren't able to take direction, and that's something I learned, I did, actually last February I booked just as many shoots as possible with photographers from all over Atlanta, like different ones. Random concepts, nothing like formal, nothing. Wasn't just boudoir, just to be in front of the camera and practice, essentially working with different photographers to make sure that it's not just my one friend that I'm good at posing with.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think that's important. Just step out of your
Mhm.
comfort zone because if you keep on doing the same thing, you don't know. Yeah. So
Yep.
I forget the other question I was gonna ask. Yes, because I completely forgot to ask. I just went into you doing boudoir. But for the people out there, so someone who doesn't know, let's just say, what is boudoir?
So boudoir is it's the I don't really know the definition of it because I don't think about it like that. But for me, it's photography. Boudoir photography is the sensual side of photography. So the women who come to do these shoots are typically doing it for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, to feel good about themselves, see themselves in a different light, see them how myself and the photographers like how we view them
Mm-hmm.
in just different ways. They do them for like their partners, so like they're getting married or just want to do it for a birthday gift. Just the sensual side of things,
Okay.
but not crossing the line into something a little bit more X-rated. Like sometimes whatever their theme is, but it's still kind of it toes the line between the conservative and the late night,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess.
I like that you said that because it's leading into my next question that you said that it's more for the people, it's more for the ladies,
Mhm.
it's more for the women who are doing it like than it is for,
Right.
oh, I'm doing this to get outside attention. Because that was going to lead me to my question about how this promotes self-love. So how what you do promotes self-love, and then the question after that would then be how would somebody who then maybe was thinking about getting into that, how they would get into it. And maybe they're hearing this, they're watching this now, and they're like, oh, that would really that sounds like it's something for me. How do I get into that? So like, yeah, first, yeah, how does it promote self-love? I guess for you, how did it help promote self-love for you, and how did you learn that it can help others?
So for me, just the confidence that I've gained from
Hmm.
being in front of the camera so often, knowing that I'm gifted at it, seeing the results from working with my clients or my photographers' clients. I call them mine as well because I work with them. We don't just start from here's your outfit, get in front of the camera. It goes into like, why are you doing this? How are you feeling?
Hmm.
How are you feeling of the entire time you're here? Are you comfortable? You look so great. I love this about you. Your confidence, like, and we really try and build them up from the inside out. And so for me, as someone who I have a hard time sometimes with like the emotional side of things,
Hmm.
I am a real person. I absolutely 100%. That's what I preach is embracing every single inch. So for me, seeing the results so quickly between myself and my clients, all of that, it really shows that how beautiful and how magical like igniting that spark within someone
Yeah.
can truly be. And that doesn't mean that your spark is always lit.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have days where the cloud, puts rain out that fire, but just like reigniting that spark like with something that you love and seeing yourself in a different light through what I do as in boudoir modeling, in the posing. It's just really beautiful. So I don't know. But I guess that's an answer, I think.
Yeah, that is a perfect answer. It even gave me a question. I love that I'm getting these questions because I did kind of write down a couple questions I want to ask you, and I'm just going through them. But this one just came in my head. Is it a all inclusive? I forget the English word to follow with this to sound like I know what I'm talking about. But what is it like? Is it more like is it I'm not you know, all shapes and sizes? That's what I'm trying to get at. Like,
Absolutely. Absolutely. My friend Leslie, who runs Vibe Boudoir, she actually has a group and it's called Vibe Inclusive. And so it's all it's all sizes, all colors, it's all everything. There are photographers out there that do a wide range. There's photographers all over the country, all over the world that do this exact same thing. I think it's all about like who you vibe with. Obviously, that's why I work so dedicatedly with my friend. We vibe together really well. But that's absolutely, yeah, it's definitely, it's for anybody. It's for everybody, literally everybody.
and
Boudoir is
it's for everybody?
everybody.
Is there a big community out here in Atlanta?
I think that the community is, I am not as plugged in with the boudoir community as I should be. As a mom, I'm still on the north side of Atlanta, to where I'm working more so in the suburbs because that is typically where boudoir is most profitable. But there is a wide audience for it in Atlanta, there is for everything in Atlanta. Atlanta is the hub for all kinds of things. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's definitely why I'm out here.
Right?
I guess so. Maybe that does answer my other question about how then people can get into it. How would they get into it? Should they be proactive and get out there and look for photographers that like are more into boudoir, and then maybe be like or are there casting calls out there, or how does somebody, like, let's just say I have a friend now, she's like, I want to get into boudoir. What's the first step? What's the first step that I do?
Well, it just kind of depends. If you're looking to like boudoir model, then that's a different category. Like for me, I'm a freelance model. So I get up every day and I hustle every single day to book shoots. That's just what I do. My goal for this year is to be signed by an agent or at least one agency.
Yeah.
It will happen. I'm manifesting it. So it will happen.
Right. That's what we do in 2021. Manifesting that
all year.
Yeah.
So like that side is a little bit harder. If you're just someone who wants to do a shoot, you find a photographer that really like you vibe with, or you like their style. Then most of them have websites and you can reach out to them. If you're looking for it as more of like a self-love thing, I just started it, but of course, what's one more thing? All of 2021.
Let them know.
Well, I started it like a membership. So I've tried like Patreon. I've tried, I thought about OnlyFans. But for me and like what I do, it tends to lead itself away from the self-love side because of the type of modeling that I do. My audience is still primarily women, which is fantastic for me. And men, women, everyone, I don't care who my audience is, but I really want to connect hands-on or virtually with women.
Yeah.
So I created my new membership, which is $15 a month. It includes like access to my close friends on Instagram. So I do on Wednesdays, I do like sensual selfie classes, but mostly just tips all day long. A monthly Zoom call. So all these women, we get together and we do these Zoom calls where we talk about different topics every month. A ticket for behind the scenes to one photo shoot a month. So I have I think I have 2 or 3 this month that I'm doing. So you get access to one of those, as well as like a bunch of other things that I'm like have in the works.
Yeah.
But the biggest part about it is that I just really want to inspire women to love themselves and just see themselves from a different point of view. My way is boudoir. I love it. I'm going to teach them, how to take cute selfies for themselves or their partner, or give them a name for a boudoir photographer in their area that I might know.
That's fire. That's fire.
Just a way to connect.
That's so cool. Like, just even the fact that you can help somebody make themselves feel better about themselves, and even bring that into their relationship, taking a more sensual selfie,
Yep.
sending it to their partner at a certain time of the day. That's just like little things, for yourself and for your relationship, that could make a difference. But like at the end of the day, like you said, the self-love behind it, I think, because that's really why I reached out to you, because I looked at a self-love advocate, and I was like, that's what I'm like. I'm just trying to like heal. I'm trying to like, live and love as much as possible and grow. We're trying to like let go of all the little things that aren't helping us progress. That breath,
Yes,
that breath, that
absolutely.
breath says a lot.
Yes. Yes.
What I wanted to ask you, this is just a slick question. Is there a male boudoir like market?
There,
Do, do men do boudoir? Like,
men do.
uh-huh.
A lot of, I think the more like funny side of it is like the doudoir is what they call it. But
Boudoir, okay.
yeah, doudoir, I guess. But I mean, it can go from, I have a friend who wants to do a shoot just for himself,
Yeah.
just so that he can feel good about himself. He's been working out, and it's not a fitness side of things. It's still more of the sensual nature.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I personally don't know of a photographer that specializes in male boudoir,
Mm-hmm.
but I know that a lot of the photographers I work with do couples boudoir, which would lend itself to the male market as well.
All right, y'all, 2021. Don't be surprised if you see me in Saleo Boudoir. You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness, I'm being so silly, yo. But another question I did have was, yes, I'm on fire with my memory today. Um, what is it? What is the thinking? What is the like the thought or the feelings behind boudoir in our community, in the Black community? I know here in Atlanta it's mad chilled for the most part, because it's Atlanta. This is where we come out to play. But like for the most part, maybe even when you're speaking to an older generation, when they ask you what do you do, or maybe they come across your Instagram page and they're like, "Oh, child, what the hell is this?"
Yeah.
What has that been like? Maybe in different sections. I also can imagine you are receiving a lot of a lot of attention from the opposite sex, talking about, oh girl, because of that picture, you know how dudes are, will comment on that picture, or will send you your picture in the DM, and then be like, oh, ba 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 ba. So like, yeah, maybe briefly break down what it's been like in our community, dealing with that in our community. Like, when people, especially when people ask you, maybe your friends be like, so what are you doing, girl? What are you doing lately? It's like, no, I'm doing this. It's like, what, you taking pictures in your underwear for
Hmm.
what? Like,
Hmm.
yeah. So like, I'm personally interested. I'm always interested to see what Black people are saying about things, because personally I'm just like, that's cool as hell, that's cool. And it's like,
Yeah,
you know
it's just a mixed bag. I would say that no one really like contacts me, at least, okay, so I would say no one contacts me in a negative way.
yeah.
My mom may not particularly love what I do, but she's grown to like understand and see it from my point of view of what I do. Like at first, I definitely think, being in the Bible Belt, especially, I was hesitant to be like, yeah, I'm a boudoir model. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm a model. And they're like, oh, of course you are. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. They're like, so what is your specialty? And I was like, I do, well, what I do is not necessarily acceptable. It's, yeah, lingerie modeling. I don't know. Like, then they're like, oh, that's what you do. So at first, not necessarily having my message, I had it like in my head. I had the phrase, I had the embrace every inch side of things,
Mm-hmm.
but merging them together in a way that I could explain to people to not get that. You
Mm.
do. Oh my. Now I get, oh my goodness, that's amazing. I wish I could do that. How do I do that? Where do I go?
That's what's up.
That's a cool photo. And I've branched into reels, which they're not all great.
Yeah.
I'm trying. I'm
Hey
learning.
man. Hey man. The fact that you're
But
doing it, you're doing more than most already.
well, that's my thing. I was telling someone, I'm like, I just want the more that you practice, the better you get.
Exactly.
And so the biggest compliment I've had recently was from someone who was male.
Uh-huh.
And he didn't want to tell me directly, he told a friend, and he said, I just want her to know that like I follow her for the artistry.
Yeah.
For the art, not
Yeah.
for any other reason. I'm just amazed at like the fact that she does what she does, and like the transitions on her reels some like are good. Like it's cool to see that I know her and just how amazingly beautiful and like the different poses, and it's just amazing.
Yeah.
So
I completely.
hearing
Yeah, like
those,
the two sides of it, because that's definitely what I
yeah.
thought. I mean, like we were talking. You were talking in the clubhouse group, and obviously, like we're in that group, so it's like,
Mm-hmm.
boom, I clicked on it.
ATL Clubhouse,
Hey,
shout
hey,
out.
shout outs to all the mods. Shout outs to everybody in the
Hey,
group.
cousin.
ATL.clubhouse on the Grizam. Plug it.
Yes,
That's the
yes.
place. That's the home base. But I remember when you spoke, I was like, okay, cool. This person's very well spoken. Let's go check the IG out. And I was like, well, damn. But like that kind of like that damn when you're like, this is fire. Like this is fire. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can appreciate, I think I appreciate dope aesthetics. So
Oh,
I was like, this is fire. Actually, sorry, I need to be correct and say it like the African when I said it. I was like, nah, this is fire, man. This is fire. I was like, this is dope. So I dig that. I dig the so you've been receiving that kind of like that like a bit of both, a
mm,
bit of
a
both.
little bit of both. I mean, definitely the other DMs as well.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
they're always going to slide in the DMs.
well, the I switched to a contact or content creator Instagram, so
Mm-hmm.
a lot of those messages go to like an others folder or like
Mm.
not my like main folder. So at least it's kind of nice that I guess Instagram has that feature
That
when
request
you're.
folder, right? Like somebody wants to send you a message.
It's that one, and there's another one where I have like primary in general, so I can have
Yeah,
like my work and my like as people are reaching out to work with me, or if people are
that's
just like my
smart.
friends.
I have that, but I haven't like sat there and sorted it out. I need to
I
do
need to
that.
do that. I need to do better at it.
She should just drop the free gem for you creatives, independents, entrepreneurs working on the
Mhm.
gram. Separate that inbox, friends,
Yes.
business, boom. Now we spoke a lot about the boudoir, but you do offer other services. So
Yeah.
just mention a few of them.
Okay.
There's one in particular I know that I'm going to get from you, and we're going to speak about that as well. But like, yeah, outside of the work that you do, and outside of the boudoir and the freelance modeling and the being just a video vixen, just murking the game out here, being a self-love titan, just like coaching people, making people feel better about themselves. What other services do you offer? I was like, yeah. She's like, yeah,
I mean,
that's
yeah,
me.
you
That's
put
me.
it that way. I'm like,
That's
yeah, I do
right.
all those
That's
things.
right. And shout out to that clubhouse group again, because they like don't ever sleep on your skills. Speak your stuff.
True.
You gotta advertise yourself, otherwise nobody's going to do it. But yeah, like so
Exactly.
what else?
I don't. What else do I do? Well, on my
Or at
so
least on that
my
spiritual tip that we were talking about, because you're also very spiritual, and I think that's also like a
I am so
yeah.
I'm on my spiritual journey is hmm, it's a thing. I used to offer like tarot card readings and in my so with the membership which is buymeacoffee.com/
Mm-hmm.
Brit Victoria. Um, in the membership, I'm going to touch on some of that. I try not to talk too much about it because I feel like giving others access to your spiritual journey is a way to derail yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's a lot of what makes me me. Like beyond like the horoscope side, like your signs, like really diving into that side of things and comparing it to who you are now.
Yeah.
So like I do a lot of that like hands-on work. That's more so what I offer with personal hype sesh. So that's
Hey.
another service, I guess. where you sit down with me for like an hour and we really just talk about what do you need hype about? What are you working on something? Are you need some just self like some love poured into you?
Mm-hmm.
Need a friend to just listen?
That's fire.
Um,
That's
yeah,
fire.
man.
Would you sell hugs
Oh, that is
if
not a bad that is not a bad idea.
I don't know why I thought of that, but I was like,
Hmm.
when you listen to somebody needs to listen to you. Some people just need hugs too. We
Yeah,
should.
I mean that's not a bad business practice.
Mm-mm.
I see. Don't get me started. I have do too many things already. I'm already told my friend I'd help him with a clothing line the other day.
Hey, I
So,
feel you on that. I feel you on that. And now speaking about the hugs, I was gonna ask a question now. Um, yes, that we're spiritual people. You and I had a conversation about this now service. I'm excited about it. Really excited about it. Me being African, I'm not. I was raised by religious parents, but I'm not really religious. I never really like felt a tied like I'm tied to something specifically, but I've always felt tied to an energy, and I could
mhm.
feel it like my energy, and then the energies around me, and the energies of nature, and so on and so forth. But so you have this one service that's really intriguing, and we don't have to go too deep into detail, but basically the whole shrine setup thing, talking to your ancestors, like what is that? Like what is that? How did that even come about?
Um, I don't know if that is on mine. I don't know if that's my website anymore. I think I took all of that, all of my spiritual stuff off. And now I want to
Mm-hmm.
go check.
No, take your time. Take your
I
time.
don't do much of the spiritual side of stuff anymore.
Okay, okay. Oh
Um,
yeah, but so while you're doing that, this is the other question, and I had it written down
mhm.
here. I should just read. So what was it like before the pandemic doing this, and then
Oh,
after the pandemic? Like now that we're like, I mean, like before, and then lockdown,
mhm.
and then now like now that we're like
Oh,
outside.
that is a great question. So before the pandemic, we still had shoots where I was hands-on creative directing and or doing the posing and I call it hype sesh,
Mm-hmm.
which that is gonna itself is a whole nother business that I'm working on because why not?
Yeah, sidebar.
Um,
We'll probably end up having conversations about that as I go on and do my music videos and things. I
mhm.
mean, I would gladly pay somebody to show me and other people where to stand, how to move, how to pose,
Yeah,
all this stuff. So yeah, we're gonna tap
yeah.
into
I
that.
mean, absolutely. But before the pandemic, it was like we were busy, we were steady busy. To where I was working hype sesh like every weekend, at least one client a weekend or like one or two. And that's was very hands on. So like moving people's hair,
Mm-hmm.
like actually touching their body or like pulling their lingerie, like moving like a thing off a shoulder. Like
Yeah,
it's very hands on what I offer. Because like my job is to make sure that you look perfect
yeah.
so that the photographer can capture the art.
Okay.
While also hyping you up from the inside. So
Yeah.
it's
So it's been a bit difficult,
multifaceted.
obviously, with the pandemic, the distance. So how do you do that now?
Yes.
Do you have to do that from a distance now? To like stand apart from each
Not necessarily. I offer like to wear a mask. Obviously,
other?
we wash hands, hand sanitizer, all of the restrictions, all of the recommended
Mm-hmm.
things to do. I also, me personally, is like the way that my sessions work when I do hands on is I sit and talk with them first for a while. And it's not just about like how are they feeling, what is their biggest insecurity, what do they love about themselves. It's kind of like into if anything makes you feel uncomfortable, let us know. What can I do to those kind of things, making sure
Yeah.
that they're okay with me moving their hair off their shoulder and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. So I think the
Consent.
biggest, yeah, yeah, and communication and consent and
Exactly. Yeah. Y'all
all
hear
those
that?
things.
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? So I guess that kind of also just falls into like some of the highlights and lowlights, highlights and the ups and the downs of being in this industry for you since you've started and where you are now.
Yeah, so like highlights and lowlights. So highlights would be the fact that this year with the pandemic as well, it really gave me the opportunity to hone in on what my message is,
Mm-hmm.
where I want to go with my personal artistry, how I want to offer things. So like on that site, Buy Me a Coffee, you can literally just buy a coffee. It's like $5. It's just like supporting, or you can do the membership, or there's like extras. So like I do a calendar every year.
Mm-hmm.
I offer like the personal hype stuff. So just kind of figuring out like those to me, even though it's like a lot of work, it's been the highlight for me. Even though it was a pandemic, it's a highlight. It's
Yeah,
the fact that I was able to find myself more so that way I'm not just constantly giving to others.
that's what's up. Oh yeah, that's what's up. I
Yeah.
think like I think creating that space, like for me especially, I didn't have a resolution, but I just said I'm gonna try and quash negative thinking where I can, and make very
Mm-hmm.
little room to no room for any of that. And already I felt like a lot of space. I have a lot of space to take a lot more in. But now that you're moving the way that you're moving, and I feel like you have like from what I'm gathering, you know what you want, you know what you're doing, or you're doing it as you like you're figuring it out as
Mm-hmm.
you're going along.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask the generic 5-year plan, but where do you see yourself taking this? I'm not going to give like a
Um,
timeline, but like, where do you want to go with this? Where do you see yourself going with this?
hmm. I so I used to think so big.
Yeah.
Um, which I guess would circle back to like low lights. That would be something for me as low light. Like last year, I really made big plans
Mm-hmm.
and that didn't work. So this year, instead of really thinking, I don't want to think too far forward. I have some like ideas more
Yeah.
so of things that would be great to do long term. But I'm really trying to live by the motto of like, how do you eat an elephant?
Mm. Mm.
One bite at a time.
Ooh, I've never heard that. How do
So
you eat an
I have
elephant?
one
Huh?
subscriber. I have one
Yeah.
subscriber, and that's fine. That's all I wanted. That was my goal, was to get one. And if I can provide quality content for one person, then I can
Mm.
provide quality content for the world, or however it goes, whatever my journey
Yeah.
looks like,
Yeah. Mm.
one bite at a time.
Okay. So you're just out here taking that bite of the elephant. So at
Hmm.
some point, there's not going to be no elephant left.
Nah, there's probably
Yeah.
just gonna be another one. I'm sure.
Hey, oh yeah, she's eating elephants out here. She's eating elephants out here. Now I'm gonna ask you a random question. Very
Okay.
random question. That has nothing to do with what we were talking about. If you had to choose between the ability to fly and being invisible, which one would you choose?
Hmm. Okay, I have a follow-up question. I'm a Libra, so this is really hard.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard. When you are invisible, do you get to choose when you're invisible, or is it all the time?
So yeah, yeah. Oh, I love these kind of questions. So let's just say like with normal invisibility power, you can turn it on and off. So you can
Oh, okay.
choose when and when not to be invisible, and you can choose when and when not to, I guess, fly. Like you just jump, you can go ahead and fly.
Okay, this is so hard.
Take your time. Take your time. There's no pressure.
Okay, so for me, I like the invisibility one. Not
Mm,
because I don't want to be seen, but because of what I do and who I am as a person. I put a lot of myself out there.
yeah.
And sometimes, honestly, like with two children, I just want to be invisible. Like that
Yeah.
sounds great.
Yeah.
Flying is pretty dope because then you get to travel. But
Yeah.
if
So
if I'm able to be visible and give myself enough, one day I'll be a billionaire and I'll have a
yeah.
private jet and I'll have a helicopter and I don't need to fly. I can just be invisible sometimes. It's fine.
Um, it's so interesting. First of all, that's the answer I thought you were gonna give me. When I thought about this question, like on the way home, I was like, this is what I'm gonna ask. And I feel like she's gonna say invisibility. And most people think it's a superhero superpower question. It's
Mhm.
actually not. And you actually answered it
Mm.
when you said it. I was like, this girl's too smart because you were like, it's not that I don't want to be seen. I was like, damn it, because that's actually what it's about. It's about people who want to like it kind of dictates, kind of shows people who like to stand out and people who like to take a step back and be in like laying a cut and check what's going on. So for me, like I like the idea of being able to fly, like just as a superpower. It would be amazing
Mhm.
to just be like in the air there. But if I had to choose, I'm choosing invisibility for that exact same reason. Like I can also just take a step back, you know. I can maybe step into certain spaces and hear
Mhm.
like conversations and see certain things that I wouldn't have access to. So that's probably what I would do it with, as opposed to just flying. Because I mean, once I'm flying, I'm flying. It's cool. But then what can I do with that, like outside of my ability to fly? But
Yep.
yeah, that was just a random question.
I
I
mean,
thought
it's
this
an
was nice.
insightful question. It's a good
Yeah,
it's question though. Like it sparks a lot of conversation because like on the flip side is if you're flying constantly, you're just soaring. You're just going
yeah.
up and up and up. And like how many times have we seen like child stars who just
Hmm.
kept going up and up and up and then they crash? What if that's what happens? You crash.
Exactly, exactly. And
So I don't know.
and on the flip side, you have people who have been in certain industries, taking a step back on just like like in the behind the scenes, working and seeing how the machine works. And by the time that they drop and they step in, they're already ready. They're basically like a full-fledged, like they're ready, finished article. They can go ahead in. So yeah, man, I guess there's different ways of doing it. I'm probably always gonna pick invisibility. But now, just on some superhero, superpower stuff. If you could pick any superpower or be any superhero, who would you be and why?
Oh, why that one? There's so many.
There's so many. Okay, let's narrow it down and make it easy. In the Marvel universe, who would you who would you pick?
I don't know.
And
That's
Jen,
too
and
hard of
he
a
can be
question.
okay. That's fair enough. I was a big
How
fan.
about I was gonna say instead I would just be Harry Potter or in the Harry Potter universe instead because
Fair
it's just
enough.
magic. I like
Fair
magic.
enough. Fair enough. How about Doctor Strange? Is his name right? Doctor Strange.
Oh, I do like Doctor Strange.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
pretty dope. That's one of the better movies I watched. And at this point, I'm just rambling on. But I pretty much asked you everything, man. Is there anything you want to ask me?
Good. Um, I'm excited to hear this podcast. I'm gonna subscribe to it for sure. I have been slacking on my podcast side of things because I've just been steady hustling and no time for anything but Clubhouse.
Hey,
So, but I
sometimes,
mean, you can learn.
yeah, sometimes it's not slacking. Sometimes you're just preparing for the next step. Like
True.
I've recorded like a whole project. Like I think I have up to like 14, 15 songs. And my producer has been sending me new beats. And I've been trying to write the past week, 2 weeks. And I'm writing, but I'm like, this is just no. No. Then I was like, I'm just gonna put it down for now. It'll come back to
Mhm.
me when it needs to come back to me. So I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm
Sure.
excited to go sit and go edit this. I'm gonna go start editing it as soon as possible. And this is the first episode that actually has visuals. The first episode
Oh.
was this audio. It was pretty cool, came out pretty cool. It was just like a wing it. Second, I got some good advice about how to tackle the second one. I feel like this is a dope second episode. It was like I told you, it's just a conversation, mad organic,
Mhm.
and I wasn't gonna have you give away any secrets about your business. But yeah. Oh yeah, plug yourself again. Plug yourself again.
Oh,
Let the people
well,
know where to find you,
all the
how to,
places.
you know.
All the places. I am on, so Instagram is the best way to find me or get in touch with me. Still growing my following. Like I said, went from mom blogging and just started completely over.
Yeah.
But it's at Bryttany Victoria, and that's BRYTTANY, and then Victoria.
Hey, let
How
them
that
know.
sounds.
And that's your handle
Um,
on all
that's
platforms?
my handle. That's pretty much my whole platform. On Twitter, it's a little bit different, but you can still find me there. From
Mhm.
that, Bryttany Victoria is pretty much everywhere. But mostly on Instagram, Clubhouse, it's Brit Victoria.
So it's easier to get access to all of your stuff by going to your Instagram,
Instagram,
clicking
absolutely.
clicking on that link in the bio. And I
Yep,
know I clicked on it, so then it takes you to the buy me a coffee, boom boom,
it
and then you see all
does.
the
It
things.
does. It's gonna switch back to my like where it has my hub. It's gonna switch back
Mm,
to the hub for everything. Right now,
mhm.
I'm really promoting the buymeacoffee.com/slash
Yeah.
Brit Victoria.
Hmm.
um, just because it's the first of the year and that kind of thing. But
Boom.
BrittanyVictoria.com is where you can find my portfolio and my rates and
Yeah.
all of that as well.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. So
Yeah,
there we go. That's the second episode of Lion's Den. Thank you so much. I'll catch you on the clubhouse.
absolutely. Thanks for
All
having me.
right. Thank you. You are awesome. You're awesome. You're so awesome.